Hello and welcome back to another edition of Deep Dive into Tech. I know it's been a couple of weeks that we haven't uploaded any video. I was out of the country for a personal reasons, but we are back. And we're going to continue from where we left off. This time we have installed SQL Server on our virtual machine or on our local machine. And now we're just gonna create maintenance jobs. We are going to look at stored procedures in the next video. We are going to look at synonyms. We are going to look at maintenance, because that's what you're going to be doing a lot when you are a DBA or you're a DBE. You're going to have to be monitoring your database systems. You're going to have to make sure that your eyes are always there. You receive alerts because anything can go down at any time. So without much further ado, let's look at SQL Server Management Studio. So this is the interface again. And over here, we have all our databases. So we have AdventureWorks, we have customer profit, we have customers, and we have sales. We have 4 databases. And if you want to create any job, we're going to create the jobs under SQL Server Agent. Right out of the bat, you can see that it has a red sign here. That means that SQL Server Agent is not running. There are 2 ways you can start up SQL Server Agent. You can right click here and hit start, or you go down here and type configuration manager. I like to go through the config manager so I can see how your SQL Server is installed. So you can see that SQL Server Agent is stopped. So I'm just gonna start it here. And it started. So close this and come back here, and you can see that it's now green. To create a job, there are different ways. You can go through management and open management, and you can see maintenance plans, and you can right click and say new maintenance plan or maintenance plan wizard. So regardless of anyone you want to choose, you can go through the wizard or you can just go through maintenance plan. And maintenance plan, I can say maintenance plan 1, hit OK, wait for it to load, and it's loading. Just let's give it a minute. So this is maintenance plan 1, and we have a subplan, and we have subplan property. This is where you want to configure what you want the subplan to do. You have your schedule, how frequently you want your job to run, manage connections, and on which server. So if you go here, you can click on this, and it has subplan 1, schedule, on demand, run as SQL Server Agent account. Now, if you want to use the wizard, you right click, hit wizard. Using the wizard is for really novice people that are coming in. They want it to take you through from the scratch. It's going to take you step by step through all everything that you want to set up. So for example, you hit next, and you name it maintenance plan 1 or 2, and run it as SQL Server Agent account. Separate schedules for each task or single schedule for each task. I usually use single schedule. Hit next. You want it to check database integrity. you wanted to reorganize index, you wanted to rebuild index, you wanted to update stats, you wanted to, you don't need it to back up or anything, or you have maintenance cleanup. So basically I'm choosing check database integrity, reorganize index, rebuild index, update statistics, maintenance cleanup task. So go next. You can make this bigger. You can make this full screen actually, so you can see everything that you're doing. And you can hit next. I just make it small because I can't really see with from my screen here. So on your target database, so at the top it says what target databases do you want these jobs to run on. Usually I would say all user databases. Make it run on user databases because these are the databases that will be highly used in your environment. So you can choose individual ones or you can add all of them, but I'll go with all user databases. Then I would go down here and hit next. So for each individual job, it says reorganize index task, and I would say all user databases. So here it gives you like fast, sampled. I want fast, that's fine. So I just go with default. So define rebuild index task. I'm just gonna choose all user databases. I usually leave these as a default, but you can play around with the values here. Update statistics, I'm also going to make it all user databases. Delete files based on age of the file at the task. I say wait for 4 weeks, that's fine. My screen is okay. Now I have the full screen. So here is your file location where you want your logs to go to. So I have that, I know where it is. If you want them to email a report to you, you can enter your email as well there. So complete the process, verify the choices made in the wizard. So these are all the choices that we chose. So you go through it and make sure that this is exactly what you chose, and then you hit finish. So it's creating, you can see that it's creating the maintenance plan, it's adding tasks, it's creating scheduling options, it's adding reporting options, and then it's saving the plan. So we're just gonna give it a second. Once it's done, we'll continue. So awesome, so it's done. So you hit close and you come back here and you refresh. Now we have a maintenance plan. So if you open your maintenance plan, you can see every single thing that we just created. Just wait for it to populate. Okay, so on a visual level, that's why SQL Server SSMS is kind of very good for beginners. It gives you a visual of what you just created. Here you can toggle the view if you want it smaller, if you want it bigger. So here is checking database integrity, reorganize an index, rebuild an index, update stats, all the way to maintenance and cleanup. So that's one way of creating, and you can see the job is down here. You can also check the frequency. It was created by me. You can see the steps, that it's gonna take. If you want to see the steps, you hit edit. And as soon as it opens up, we can see. So it's a subplan SQL Server integration services package. You can change that to anything you want. So this is the gut of the job, basically. This is the gut of the job. I usually come here and I say log to table, so that when I'm troubleshooting, I'm able to go into this table and just query the table, and I'll be able to see what happened, if it failed or if it was successful. Here in schedule, I haven't created a schedule, so I can hit new and I say maintenance schedule, and I want it to run every day, and I want it to run off hours when nobody is using the server, using the database, or using your application. So I'll leave it at 12 in the morning, or you can say 1, starting from today, and hit OK. And then if I have alerting, this is where I will put it. And I'll show you in just a second on alerting. So email, you want it to, I haven't created an operator yet, but this is where you would add your email, and you would say when the job fails, you want to get an email. Okay. So as soon as you're done, you hit OK, and you're done. So it's creating the scheduling, it's creating all those inner functions that we just created, and your job will be ready to run as needed. Now, if you remember what we created an index organize, index rebuild, update statistics, check database integrity. And what check database integrity does is checking the integrity of the database. Is the database still good? Is it still healthy? Is there something in the database that would make it not available for any processes or for the application? You know what indexes are. If you don't know, I'm just going to give you a short explanation of what an index is. When you go to a library, which I feel like everybody knows what a library is, and you're looking for a book, you would, for example, the name of the book is Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. You can either start looking by the book title or by the author title. Robert Kiyosaki is Robert from R. You would go to the index R. So the aisle that has the index R by author is where you would go to start looking for all authors that have first names as R. Or you would look for Rich Dad, Poor Dad, R as well. All books that their titles start with R. And you would go to the aisle R, because that is an index. That aisle is standing as an index for you. So instead of you just starting from one end of the library and just keep searching for a book, which will take you years, might take you years to find a book, because some libraries are huge, you are able to jump straight to where you are supposed to be and look. It makes your search easier. So in a nutshell, that is what an index is. And we're doing an update stats, and then we're doing a cleanup. Now, that's one way of creating a job, a maintenance job. Another way of creating a maintenance job is directly from SQL Server Agent. If you right click here, you can see that you can create a job. And you hit new job. we're just gonna wait for a second while it opens up. And I can say tests. And I mean, you can add more details in your description of what your job does. And then you go to steps and you open steps. Okay. And now your step is, let's say, step 1. And in here is where you will enter your script. So you can say use MSDB, go. And you say execute update stats. So that could be one, that could be a job. You could do dbcc, no, you could do check dbcc, and then you put your database name. So that could be something that you would want to do. But all these jobs have already been created for you. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. And I'll show you. If you open your your browser, you can quickly get a job that has been tailor-made. Let me show you. There is a SQL Server superhero called Ola Hellengren. For most people in the field, they know who he is. But if you don't, I will put his website in the description and you can play around with his script. So if you open his site, Ola Hellengren, or you just type Ola Hellengren on your browser, Google search, he's really brilliant. He's really intelligent. He has a website that has a lot of maintenance tasks. Just go here and download the maintenance solution. As soon as you have that, go to the file. And I'm just gonna take this file and put it on Management Studio. Oh, my computer is so slow. I have to get a faster one, folks. So finally, my script is in my SSMS, and I'm just gonna run. But before I run it, if you look at the script, what it's doing, it's gonna create a couple of SPs, and I'll show you in just a second. So I hit run. It's gonna create a bunch of SPs and a bunch of jobs for me. And the only thing I need to do is go into these jobs now and configure it to my taste. Okay. So I'm just gonna pause the video until when the job is complete. And the script finally ran. First things first, go to your SQL Server agent jobs and do a refresh. And you see that it created a bunch of jobs for you, a bunch of jobs. And if you go to your master database, master, go to programmability and go to stored procs. you would see that it created a bunch of new jobs for you, new SPs. I beg your pardon. All right, so it created command execute, database backup, database integrity, and index optimize. These are the stored procs that are used in the jobs that are below. Let's take a look at one of them, index optimize. In our next lecture, I'm going to go through each and every one of these jobs one by one and tell you about what, we talk about, discuss what they do, how I run them in my environment, how you should look at them. Some of them are really resource heavy and intensive on critical systems. So it's good to stagger some of these jobs so they don't run at the same time. You see, so it's using an SP, execute DBO, index optimize on the databases, user database, and log to table. Log to table is exactly what I did here, log to table, but this is in a T-SQL way, and I do, you can actually just click on this and it will log it to the table. Okay, so this is one of the jobs, and we're not going to go through all of the jobs today, but in the next lecture, we're just going to go through each one of them, make sure that we have set them up and they are running as they should. And then we're going to look at a couple more things like how to monitor your database and how to, make sure that you stay on top of things. And I'll see you guys on the next lecture. Bye and God bless.